Okay. Well, thank you for being here and for accommodating the time, everyone. Um, what I remember us doing from last time is the party officially departed from Targos after spending a little time on the ship. Well, I should say, after the previous shenanigans, the party had begun returning to the ship, where they essentially had one final parting uh, interaction with Atina, the new chosen of Oral, through absorption of essentially Grand Priestess Phrygis's power from a icy sphere, um, and in parting with the Broken, she gave just some words to anybody who needed to hear it. Improved the stone that Athros had found uh, inside the vault room of the ziggurat to allow it to talk to her directly. So once per day, the party can reach out to Atina. Um, and as long as the party is within Oral's domain, which is pretty much, I mean, it's the entirety of the 10 towns and Icewind Dale region, um, that she would be able to, like, she has eyes and ears wherever she needs to point them, anywhere within her domain. But the party can reach out to her once a day through the spell sending, essentially through a sending stone. She did mention, I believe, because the question was raised for Miris about the book that he's currently on a quest to find, to which she kind of gave a cryptic set of words of basically the pages will appear when they need to, and that not to worry, I guess, given that the book has been kind of split into pieces at this point, which is concerning in its own right, but essentially Miris already has 2 pages of his book. The book itself, we don't really have a lot of details about that. At this time, Miris in general would probably have the most information about its overall size. But the party set off north with cursed Captain Athros, taking the helm, though I believe not before the party drew more cards from the deck. The 3 people being Junior Steen, Athros, and Spit, who had each drawn, trying to outdo each other, a increasing number of cards from the deck of wild many certain things. And Junior Steen grew a beard of feathers that last until he sneezes, at which point they all fly out of his face. Athros grew not just a set of wings, but a large set of wings, giving him a rather enormous fly speed. Spit's alignment has changed from chaotic good to lawful evil. And the party kind of made their way northward now, pursuing Vaelin's request of going to Revel's End to speak to prisoner 247, also known as Vaelish Gant, who is currently locked up there due to years ago his attempt to overthrow the government of Brinchander and seat himself in the Arcane Brotherhood in the north here. They were stopped by a previous group of adventurers who uncovered the plot and stopped him from, causing problems for Duvessa, holding a bit of a grudge, and for good reason. Duvessa had him locked up in Revel's End. Vaelin has made mention that Vaelish knows where, the group is looking for what is known as the Isle of Solstice, which is where she believes the missing items that she has had stolen from her currently reside. And one of those items that you can find on the Island of Solstice is something that is needed to essentially split the ice in the Rega Glacier, allowing the party to adventure down into the Rega Glacier and find the city of Ithrin, which is what the Arcane Brotherhood wants to find. For reference, the party has already been paid half of their amount for part of the quest after a very well-timed and high persuasion roll to pay it partially in advance but also increase the amount of funds. So the party had arrived at Revel's End, where they were met by the warden and two of her guards standing, or who approached the ship, originally asking to board, but Aethros was like, "Nah, we'll meet you down below." And the party, through their various means, whether it was walking horizontally down the ship, since Junior Steen now has Bictoon's ability to traverse any surface, or flying, or whatever means the party chose, where she essentially met the group, spoke to them, confirmed their reasons for coming to Revel's End since they do not get many visitors. Valine presented the letter from Duvessa Shane, giving them permission to speak to Vaelish Gant, and I believe we ended last session with the party, or at least the warden, beginning to walk back towards Revel's End, basically giving you hints that you should follow, but the party hadn't. I think we kind of just ended it there, as essentially the group was getting ready to move into the prison. Is there any questions that anybody had from last session at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Did we level up?
No.
Cool, just checking now.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair.
No real question.
Someone has to do it because Ebron's not here.
Yes.
Okay. So no, you did not level up. Womp womp.
Okay.
As the warden, I don't believe she has introduced herself fully by name at this point, just merely proclaiming herself as the warden. Her being human in nature, just probably just chin length, brown hair that you would see after she pulled like the large like hood off of her face and pulled down the cowl over her mouth, as it is very cold up here, though for many of you this feels very similar to what you've been experiencing in the wilds around 10 Towns, but the wind is significantly stronger in some areas here. There's a large rock shelf that kind of surrounds the back of Revel's End, blocking off at least winds from the north and some of the other neighboring directions, but any winds coming from the south hit the prison pretty hard, and it kind of shows with how the snow lies here compared to what you're used to down by 10 Towns. It's a bit more frozen over. It seems that snow kind of moves in flurries here more than lingers and is deep. It's pretty solidified here. The prison itself is pentagonally shaped. There is a probably 30-foot high wall that surrounds the entirety of the prison, and it's sitting in the center of this, or I should say more so towards the north end of the prison. There is this large spire that rises stories upon stories up into the air. I did post an image of the prison, or Revel's End itself, in the campaign art channel, finally, after finding one I could actually use. You would know, between Valine mentioning it as well as like prior knowledge or like maybe readings that people have done down in 10 Towns, that Revel's End can be accessed two main ways. One is the by coming in through the entrance, which is what you guys have done. You've traveled northward through your Shiraha, the living airship, to get here, but there is also a way to access the prison by the water on the north end. Like, essentially, you're at the top of the world, but there is a water-based entrance that leads out into the sea of moving ice, where you really need ships that are rather reinforced to be able to survive. So think those of you, it might just be Nick. Wait, no, I think it would have been Ben. No, it wouldn't have been Ben. I don't freaking know. The party who traversed to the north on the the Iron Shepherd. Vessels like that are meant for plowing through large shelves of ice. Those are the type of ship. I couldn't remember if
that was me, Ebron, and Ono, I believe.
I couldn't remember if it was you or if it was Aethros and Irini, because the two of them came separate too. One of you came on the Snowpiercer and one of you came on the Iron Shepherd.
Yeah, I believe that was Irini and Aethros that came together.
Okay.
But
well, those of you who came on the Iron Shepherd would know that it would be that style of ship that you would need, with large steel reinforcements in the front to plow through the ice and stave off damage from icebergs to traverse it by ice. Technically, this could be accessed by air, but given the sheer cold of the nature here, not very often does that happen. As the party, because Ibram would be kind of familiar with Revel's End, so as the party's traversing between Aethros piloting you guys here, or like conversations with him and like Valine, he would also mention that one of the organizations that is tied very closely to Revel's End is the Plain Guard. They are one of the few organizations that probably could make it to the north here through airship, given their funds in organization and ability to traverse large distances rather quickly. He'll mention that there are times where prisoners from Revel's End are transferred, and usually if they're transferred, it's because they can't be contained here and have to be sent to the Pitiless, which is a place that he's very familiar with on the astral plane, which the Plain Guard, if they're coming to Revel's End to escort a prisoner, that's probably why. They're the only organization he would have mentioned that can traverse to the astral plane to the Pitiless itself, which is essentially a large astral prison that's meant to house people who maybe, again, cause problems here at Revel's End, or maybe have more magic than what normal confining means can contain, with the exceptional, like an anti-magic field or something. So you would all know that just from conversations that you've had with him or Valine as you approach the prison in general, just to give you a little bit of background. But as the warden makes her way towards the prison itself, like I said, beckoning you all to kind of follow, does the party want to follow her in, or is there anything the party needs to do beforehand? Or, I mean, the ball's in your court. I'm assuming that whatever the party does, Aethros would probably be on board with.
Yeah, I don't really have a preference. Do you guys?
I don't have a preference.
No, I don't think I need to do anything beforehand.
Alright, I mean, we can just move along then, right?
Okay. Those following all of you inside would be basically the ship's crew. So all of the main party of the Broken, plus Valine, those of you who are, physically a part of the Broken right now. You would all follow shortly behind the warden, maybe like 15-20 feet back, as she has a small head start on all of you. You would see as the entrance to the prison's probably about 100 feet. It would have been 100 feet away from the ship. The ship parked decently close. Magically sealed shut as you guys left. Aethros kind of being the one who had the captain's helm, would have done that, being the last person out. As you all make your way closer to the prison, seeing the sheer size of the walls that are meant to contain some of these prisoners. As you approach the doorway, you would see the warden kind of hold up her hand in a open palm fashion. There's a slight silence that passes, and then you hear the sound of the doors opening inward as you're kind of met with this small rush of warm air, as the temperature inside the prison seems to be moderately warm. You step in through these large doorways. Two guards that were following with her kind of stand outside the prison, leaving just her to lead all of you inside. But once the doors close again, you would see the two guards that stand post at the inside of the doorway kind of follow where the others left off, as she begins to walk you down this rather long and I would say dimly lit hallway. Torches line equal distance down what seems to be probably close to about 100-foot hallway. You can hear the sound of her boots kind of clacking on the stone. So, you've come here to speak to Vaelish. I do hope that you find your stay here to be to your liking. It's not very often that we get visitors here, not anymore, anyway. Not since the rime took hold of the north here. So it's been... And she, like, looks to one of the guards. Joseph, it's been 3 years now, hasn't it? And he would, like, be silent for a moment. You see his eye, like, glance in your direction, not breaking his his head facing forward. You just see his eyes glance at the party before glancing back towards the warden. Yes, ma'am. It's been about 3 years since the rime had started taking effect. And the warden would be like, yes, right, 3 years. Please, follow me. And as you reach the end of the hallway, you would see it opens up into what seems to be some form of large commons. You wouldn't see any prison cells in this particular area. You could smell that there's food being made, but compared to what you've been eating, it does not smell anywhere nearly as appealing. Food is food in the north here. That whatever they're cooking, not all of the ingredients are probably, well, the best of quality. As she leads you towards this another large entry point just beyond the kitchen. It seems to be there's an iron gate that sits in the front. And as she gets closer, you see that she pulls out from her side a ring of keys. A couple of them of different colors, ranging from a bronze to a silver to a gold, and then small symbols etched in on the sides. The key that she would use to unlock this iron gate in front of you would be a silver key. As the large iron gate kind of she would open it, pull it to the side as it opens up into a large platform, seemingly just leading to nowhere. But I would say Miras and Maleg, why don't the two of you roll history checks for me?
All right.
If Junior's team wanted to roll one, it would be at disadvantage.
Nah.
How do you do a history roll again?
So on your character sheet, it should be on the right side, the top tab, and then you should have all your skills kind of available to you. It would be just you click on history, and then it would be a standard roll.
Oh, so normal roll?
Yeah, normal roll.
Ooh.
Beautiful. While ragged in design, you would recognize this contraption here as a towered elevator. Not many people in the north here, or actually I think this is probably the only location in the north that would probably have one. But for people like Miras who have kind of traveled a little bit in the southern parts of Vas'Kai and Maleg, whether it's through reading or through your own travels south of 10 Towns, you would have at least ridden on one or two of these for a varying number of reasons, both of you. As you all step inside, the elevator being more than accommodating enough, it being probably about a 10 foot by 10 foot cube. Easily enough to fit the whole party without, getting a little too comfortable. She pulls a lever on the left side of the elevator, and you feel something release, and for a moment you dip down probably about a foot before you hear the sound of hissing and a whistle as you're elevated up into the air. The elevator ride is slow and maybe not as entertaining as what a person would think. Spit seems rather curious about it, constantly looking around as the walls around him are moving, but he is not, as he's just is very perplexed. But the party would be pulled high up into the air, near the top of the tower. You would see, as the elevator comes to a stop, you would hear another set of hissing as whatever gears and items, lifted you this high seem to be releasing their pressure. Another iron gate, this one not being locked, would swing open, a guard pulling it this time from up at these quarters. Looking straight ahead in this vicinity here, you would see that there's a couple different rooms, but you don't see any prison cells, which in a way kind of raises concern of why are we here versus going to an actual prison cell. I think Ibram would probably speak out about that and just say something like, this doesn't look like a holding area. And the warden would say like, yes, I know, but I figured since you are our guests here, I'd like to just invite you to, after your long and weary travels, maybe sit down and have a cup of tea. Talk a little bit, I suppose. It's one thing to have conversations with my guard, but it's a little different when I have outsiders I wasn't expecting. There was no message sent our way. I just wanted to chat just a little bit with some of you. Maybe understand, the goings-on around 10 Towns a little bit. If you would just humor me, if even for a few minutes. As she would step out of the elevator, and you would see that, like, of the 3 rooms that are kind of decorating this floor, the one with the largest entrance and the most amount of decor seems to be what you would presume to be the warden's office. As she would step forward, she would look over because the guards had followed up to, Joseph, prepare a kettle of tea. To be comfortable. Please, by all means, come. And she pulls, kind of ushers you, if you would like to join her in what seems to be her office. Her office being, there's a window on the far side that overlooks the entire prison. Sitting in the center of the room would be a large conference room style table with various documents kind of strewn about that she would begin tidying up really quick. Since it is in fact late eve, it's 1:15 in the morning. As you can tell that there is a private quarters off to the side attached to this office, and then you'd see closest to the window seems to be a desk with another even larger stack of documents and a couple of other things just kind of strewn about. After a few minutes, after the party, I guess, gets a little comfortable within the office, sitting, standing, whatever the party would prefer, you would see Joseph, the guard who she's been referencing this time, bring to the table a decently large but very hot kettle of tea, and would begin pouring glasses, pouring glasses or some form of cup for anyone who would like to partake within the tea itself. You would see her grabbing, there's chairs around. You would see that the chair that she sits down in seems to be one that's a little bit different than all of yours, having a little more cushion, representative of her stature. She would sit down at the table, and she would look to all of you. Apologies for the lack of introductions before. I am Warden Kilthane. I've been here for the last several years as Warden of Revel's End. And in my time here, I think we've turned this place around quite a bit. But please, don't let me... I feel like I've been doing a lot of talking since you've arrived here. Please, who are all of you exactly? I know, and she would look over to Vaelish. I know you because you introduced yourself at the ship. You are Vaelish, but the rest of you, may I know your names? And she would kind of look around the table to see who introduces themselves.
I'll go first, and nah. I was gonna try to do something, but I can't think of a good one. So I'll just introduce myself as myself. And
in the literal or figurative sense?
You know what? Literal. It's not very smart. I am me. I am who I am. If I'm not, then why would you think I am?
Well, it is a pleasure to meet you. And she's just like, yourself.
No, I'm myself.
Well, right. I understand that, but if I said hello myself, you could mistake me for talking about, well, myself.
Why would I? What? You're confusing.
As for the rest of you, you would hear like Irene would introduce herself, Ebron would introduce himself, and then before Ebron even finishes like what he's saying, Spit being right next to him would just shout, "Spit!" And then like it just like echoes kind of throughout the room, him being like kind of excited, but like even through that excitement, you can tell there's still a bit of composure there. He seems to be kind of like looking around the room, just taking it all in. As it would come down to the other side of the table with Maleg and Miris and Valine kind of sitting at that side. As for the two of you, and she would like look to the two of you.
Yes, my name is Miris.
I'm Maleg.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Maleg, Miris. And then she would like go around and just repeat everybody's names, and then once again stopping at Junior Steen and myself.
Yes. Nice to meet you.
Interesting choice of name, but it is. I'm sure there is story behind it nonetheless.
I didn't say that was my name.
Well, that's what I was asking for.
No, you asked who I am. I told you I am me.
You see her like bring an arm and rest it on the table. Her chin like resting in the like in the cusp of her hand. Interesting. I suppose I could understand to some extent the confusion. What is your name, sir?
Oh, yeah, I'm Iwakonia Tsigurna Junior Steen.
Can I call you Junior Steen?
Yeah, you can. I can't promise I'll answer, but
I'll take it. So, as she she pulls back now, feeling a little more relaxed after understanding the flaw in her own logic. Looks to the party. So all of you came here to Revel's End to speak with Vaelish Gant, which I understand now, in part. And we'll get to that in due time here. I'll have guards make sure that he is in fact awake. But you all are a wide variety of individuals. Please forgive me if I'm overstepping my thoughts here, but something tells me you didn't all originally travel together. You probably all have a point of origin differing from even my own. What brought you to the Icewind Dales, or maybe have you lived here the whole time? And she would look to you, Junior Steen, just because you're probably one of the closest people to her. Her two guards kind of standing, constantly keeping an eye over the party, but she herself being a bit more relaxed. They're not readied weapons or anything. They're more so just standing at attention. You are a Goliath, are you not?
I am.
Tell me, Goliaths here in the north. I mean, this would be a commendation to you, though. Please don't take offense in what I'm saying, but I've yet to meet a Goliath who seems to be as self-aware as you yourself are.
I don't know what that means, so I might take offense to that? Question mark?
Well, you seem... She looks over the armor that you have. Most Goliaths that I see traveling the north here, be it, passing too close to Revel's End, or when we occasionally have caravans heading south, they don't carry themselves like you do. I don't see them usually wearing forms of armor, for example. Whatever, however you acquired such, and she like looks it over and like, while it's a decent set of armor, like quality wise, it's good quality, but you can tell that it's been like patchwork together in some places, maybe from like whether it's a lack of resources or like maybe you know taken from several different sets and tried to make as like matchy as possible. You're a very fascinating individual. I suppose I'll leave it there. And she would like look over to other members of the party. Ebrin, what would Ebrin do? Let's do a 50-50.
Probably hold a dagger to his throat.
Okay. Ebrin would just kind of, he would go into some detail about, he would not hold a dagger to his throat, not this time, but he would go into some detail about like his own origins, about how he's from a bit farther south. He was to recover like from a massive injury. He spent a lot of time in the astral plane, so he's familiar with like some of the interactions with Revel's End and like the plane guard from his time there. But now he's back and trying to put pieces together. He'd probably be as vague as possible beyond that. After the last time he was reprimanded by Athros for spilling the beans immediately to every person, he's kind of trying to hold some of that back. And you can tell, especially Miris, who has traveled, Miris and the rest of the party who are here, who've been with Ebrin for a little while now, would see that he's trying to, he's being a bit quiet, more so just, he's like, you can tell that he's kind of on edge, but he would give at least enough information to entertain her with the story. Interesting, Ebrin. And like there would be a conversation between the two of them probably for a couple of minutes before she would realize that she's neglected the rest of you. You would tell that she would stop at Irini, Irini mentioning that she's from way far south, being the iris and the pupil in Vas'Kai. The what do I want to call it? Essentially the cornerstone in political negotiation and entertainment, and that she's just kind of here trying to bring some light to a really dark space. And they would kind of applaud her for having that kind of effort, wanting to ideally make the world a better place. That's so fascinating. And your colorful decor really brings that mentality all together. I must say it is quite a sight to behold. And she would like look at herself and look at her. Well, yeah, I know. That's why I wear it. I'm just like unamused in a way from the warden. And what about you? And she looks to you, Miris, to talk should you wish. What brings you up here to the Icewind Dales?
Well, I was actually following someone and I kind of just woke up here. Can't really explain it. But I guess the main reason I'm here is I'm looking for a tome that was stolen from my town, and so far the only thing I found out is that the pages are scattered all across the world, and so far I only found 2 of them.
Well, that's an unfortunate thing to hear. What I feel is good about what you've just said is that it proves that you are making progress towards a goal that you might have. I'm sure, and I feel confident that you will find those tomes, or find the rest of your missing pages in due time. You seem like a rather put-together bunch. I feel that given that you've made it this far and your form of transportation, that you're battle-weathered and ready for many things to happen in the future. And she would like look to Maleg. And what brings you here to the north, or are you a resident of Ten Towns?
I joined this group. Excuse me. I've joined this group just to go with the flow and see where the journey takes me.
Ah, a free spirit. I commend anyone willing to take upon themselves that lifestyle. I would be lying if I said I hadn't thought of doing the same within my days. People come, people go from here. And even before I became the warden, as a resident of Ten Towns, I really didn't travel much. Maybe once I stepped down. And she would finish the cup of tea that she has in front of her. As she does so, I would say, since there's 3 of you here, let's have all 3 of you roll perception checks.
Would have been really weird if Victoon had rolled one.
A little bit. Oof. Junior Steen and Maleg, you don't really notice anything that catches your eye too much. More so maybe, if anything, you could kind of hear some chatter between the 2 guards standing by, but it's nothing more than just questions maybe that might linger about the party, but hard to make out the full questions because you're a little bit tired, a little bit late, being early morning. Miris, though, as you are listening to the conversation and as you, she pays attention to each individual person around the table, you get this distinct scent of sulfur. And you don't really know where it's originating from, but you feel that anytime one of the guards kind of pass by you, or at least in your vicinity, that the odor of sulfur gets a bit stronger for a moment, and then as they walk away, it seems to disappear. You begin kind of pondering what might, create that sulfurous smell, and kind of begin throwing some ideas together in your head. Hard to narrow down what it might be, but there are creatures that you're aware of that seem to have a sulfurous odor about them, but the ones that you recall having that are dragons, which doesn't seem given the current situation, it feels like that seems almost out of place. Or there are some spells or wards at times that use sulfur as a component. So you're as you're listening to the conversations and the people are talking, you just kind of begin throwing some ideas together in your head. Let's have Athros and Ebrin roll some just for giggles. They seem to be in a similar boat to Maleg and Junior Steen, where they seem to be more focused on the conversation. You don't really get a hint that maybe they picked up that, as the guards would walk past you as the conversations continue to move. As the party finishes introducing, and she kind of has follow-up questions to some of your adventures, which many of you would probably keep vague, especially since only Ian of the group has been through some of the adventures here right now. She would eventually she would regain a bit more of a serious demeanor as she has another cup of tea poured for her. So, I thank you for entertaining me for even but a brief moment. It's nice to have conversation with people I haven't spoken to continuously for the last several years. Returning to the matter at hand, as you could see Valine growing a little bit more impatient. So, I should have you all know that the prison, the way this prison works is each person within the prison has their own individual cell, which works out great, minus spacing constraints, but at least then we don't have people killing each other in their cells often. Anyway, beyond the housing of the cells, this prison does have several defensive measures that are kept in place for the purpose of we are dealing with some of the most dangerous people here in the north, or those who have committed crimes that no one wants to deal with, so we kind of get them dumped on us. These crimes range anywhere from trying to overthrow a government to trying to assassinate members of a royal family, to plotting other pieces, to actually mass murdering large groups of people. And with that in mind, I suppose, besides just the people, members of city watches across the nation, there's a large population here who very much, if given the chance, would probably make a break for it and or try to bring harm to any of you. To help stave against that, and also provide the limited confines of space and privacy, there are 3 different wards that are set up across this prison. First, in each of the cells, as well as capable in the main areas of the prison, there is anti-magic fields that can be turned on and off, scattered through runes that are embedded within the floors, walls, and ceilings. There is also the capabilities for dark curtains to be, again, turned on and turned off. The reason why this particular piece is important is because we don't have a private room, so to say, for you to speak with prisoners here. Even those who are trying to fight for cases of our prisoners, they are limited in how they can do so. There is no private chamber to have those one-on-one connections. But to help create a makeshift rendition of that, the 3rd ward that appears within the confines of this prison is the silence spell. So, when you do go to meet with Vaelish Gant at his cell, we will take you down there momentarily. You will be given a private curtain of darkness, so to say, where it will be you and him and your party, as well as a curtain of silence, meaning that other prisoners in other cells nearby would not be able to hear what you're saying. And given that Vaelish is a magical individual, his entire cell is coated in an anti-magic field. He couldn't cast spells even if he wanted to, and you would hear a chuckle come from Joseph, and she would look back at Joseph and give a very, very serious look, and his face going from that of a chuckle returns back to that stone wall that he had originally. Right. I will remain here for the time being. I will have oh my gosh, I don't remember what I named the other guard. Joseph and Zane, the 2 of them will take you down to his cells. All of us have the ability to manipulate the capabilities of the cells around us here. It should not be an issue. If there is an issue, someone will alert me and I will come down myself. Did you have any questions for me before I have you escorted to go speak with, well, prisoner 247?
No, I'm pretty good.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, she kind of waves her hand in the air behind her to her left this time, and you would see that Zane and Joseph, they both kind of turn to stand at attention, allowing the party to move in the middle between them as you make your way out. I will come find you before you leave, I'm sure. But do be careful. As I've said before we walked in, and I'll reiterate now, Vaelish Gant will do almost anything to get out of his prison cell. Please do not listen to him. At least, I should say, take what he says with a grain of salt. As the party is kind of brought back to the elevator out beyond her chamber, you would see that Zane, human guard, kind of pulls the lever once again. You'd hear the familiar whistle and the sound of gases kind of being exuded out as you are now lowered downward. Spit once again, like he like drags his hand across the wall as you're going down, just like mesmerized again by the fact that he is in this small room and everything is moving around him and has no idea what's going on. Instead of returning to the main floor where you were before, the party would instead be taken down another floor, down into the like actually underneath the ground floor itself, so base floor 1. It would come to a stop. Once again, familiar sounds as the gate that leads out into this chamber is opened by a guard who has been standing watch down here. You would see Zane and the two guards kind of share a look back and forth as he swings the gate open. Zane stepping out to allow you all to be to leave out into the main chamber. You would see that there's pretty much all the cells on this floor are filled. Looking around, you see people of all races, ranging from half-orcs to tieflings to human, people of elvish and human descent, so you're half-elves, and they all seem to be in a very similar set of clothes, which are mainly like rags in design with maybe a rope belt to kind of hold things up. There's cots in each of the cells, though judging by how they look, they're probably... Actually, no, they're not probably. They are definitely not the most comfortable things in the world. Filled with, like, almost like a hay of sorts that's definitely been decaying a little bit. There's not so much a window that leads out on some of the cells, this being kind of almost underground at this point. But you would see that there are sconces outside of each prison cell. Zane and Joseph would begin escorting you down a large row of cells into a slightly larger room. This one containing like some tables and workspace type items. You could see that beyond this room where there's... Oh God, how many cells are there? There are 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's probably 22 cells in this main block here with a set of tables set out, a couple of chairs at each table. Again, a large number of different races, and you can hear some of these people kind of calling out to the party. You would see like a human kind of sitting right up against the oh God, hold on, my grammar has been awful today. The actual cell door itself, the steel that runs up and down, he kind of looks at all of you. Oh, would you looky here? Looks like we get visitors for once. Hey, everybody! We got friends! And you would see, like, across the room, this large half-orc fellow, standing bright and tall, muscular as hell, looks to the human. Why don't you shut the fuck up? Some of us are trying to sleep. And he, like, you know, seeing the lights kind of glimmer across the room here, he kind of like takes a moment and like goes and sits back down in his cot. Or at least we would if it was freaking comfortable. And you would just like hear one of the guards kind of shout back, "Hey, it's not my fault you ended up here. You deal with what you're given." And he's just like, yeah, I've heard the spiel. And like goes back to like the far back corners of his cell. They would escort you deeper into the chamber, or into the room, this time taking you a bit towards the end where there's another doorway, but moving to the right where you see in the corner cell a human that seems to be laying on a bed as he brings you in close. "Hey, Vaelish, You have visitors. And the human on the bed would roll over and like look at the cell doors and see this like a large number of people who've all come to, you know, I guess speak to him. He would like not so much jump, but he would like in almost in an excited fashion get up a little bit quicker than what you would expect and come over to the doors. Visitors? I don't get visitors. I have never gotten a visitor while I was here. And like Zane would just look him up and down. Yeah, well you got some now. And he like chuckles a bit. Enjoy it while you can. And just like takes a few steps back. I assume you'll all want some privacy. And she Vaylene would look over to Zane. Privacy would be best, please. And he's like, all right. As he takes a few steps backwards away from the party, you would be across from, like, Vaelish is in the corner, so you would see his cell is like facing directly in front of you, but there is another cell right next to you on like the other corner. It being a it would be a tiefling who is next to Vaelish. They're not like moving actively, but they're kind of laying in their cell, probably trying to sleep. As Zane takes he waves his hand in the air, and just like the warden Kilthane had mentioned, you watch as this black, almost like black curtain moves, jets out from the wall that makes the wall of Vaelish's cell, and he like almost as if it draws a pattern. You see it form this like large cube, probably about 10 foot by 10 foot, so same size as the elevator, around the area. And then as the last member of the party would enter this veil, I would say it'd probably be, let's say, Miras, just for the sake of simplicity. You would see that with his other hand, he seems to draw a different symbol in the air. And right as you're entering the cell, for a moment, you feel that you're overtaken by the silence spell. And then as you enter the 10 foot by 10 foot square, you feel your hearing come back to you once again. It seems that they're kind of true to what they said, that there is a bit of privacy there. But you would all find yourself standing in this cube, facing what seems to be Vaelish Gant. You see that there's a bit of a beard that's kind of formed on him. He has not had a decent shave in a very long time. He seems a bit frail. And while trying his best to maintain some composure, given the excitement of having a visitor, you can tell that he is a little bit shaky. As he like looks at all of you. What brings all of you here? I don't recognize any of you, if I'm being honest. And he would like look to let's say Junior Steen.
I don't recognize you either.
Well, that makes me, oddly enough, feel a little bit better. I don't know what this means. Are you here to request my freedom? Am I finally leaving this place? And you would see, I would say, coming up from behind Junior Steen, you would see Vaylene take a few steps forward, and everybody would watch as his face goes from being moderately excited to literally a face of fear as she stands in front. Vaelish Gant, prisoner 247. Do you know why I'm here? And like seeing the group around her and seeing Vaylene now standing in the front of his cell, his excited demeanor becomes that of almost like fear and like solemn. I can only imagine why you would be here, Valine. And she like has a big grin that kind of comes over her face. Surely you remember what well, what you were sent up here to do, but beyond that, your affiliation with one of our compatriots and the betrayal of my trust. And he would like nod very, very slowly. Vaelish, I know you know where to find what we're looking for. I request that, as an apology seeking forgiveness for your actions, that you tell me where to find Professor Scant, as well as the map that leads to the Isle of Solstice. And he would, continuing to take a few more steps back and almost kind of tripping over what would be like the hole in the ground for like their latrine. He pauses for a moment. I don't know what you're talking about, Valine. I don't have anything. And you see like his breathing gets a little more uneven, a little more sporadic. I don't have it, if that's what you're wondering. It's not here. It's not here, Valine. I don't know what you expect me to do. And she looks him up and down. Well, I understand it wouldn't be on your person, Vaelish. You're in prison. But I know that you're resourceful. You always were, always have been. And I feel very confident that you wouldn't have just burnt it up or disposed of it. You're a planner, Vaelish Gant. You had the fullest intentions of trying to break out of here, haven't you? And like, as she says that, he like looks around the cell. Don't. No, I would never break out of my cell. And like, I'm gonna say, Maleg, roll a insight check.
All right.
Trying to pull individual people instead of having all of you roll all the time.
What check again?
Insight.
Excuse me. Oh, nice.
Very nice. You can tell that as he finishes speaking words, through this whole series of events, he seems to be mouthing something that you would recognize, just based off of your own interactions having to like lip read people as part of the syndicate previously, or at least affiliating with them. He's mouthing the words, "They can hear you. They have ears everywhere." As he would continue conversation with Valine, her being more focused on his words more than his actions. Look, Vaelish, you betrayed me. And not just betrayed me, you betrayed the Brotherhood. How do you think they'd feel upon finding you here? And he would like look to Valine. Well, given that no one has come for me yet, I can't imagine that they would send anybody now. And he would Valine would chuckle a little bit. They haven't sent anybody because at least up till this point, I have told them not to. Tell me, Vaelish, do you want that stricken upon you? Do you want the Brotherhood to make an appearance? Beyond myself, how much do you value your life? And there's like a moment of pause. Valine, I had no intention of initially betraying you. Nas Lantamir, she convinced me that what I was doing was the right thing to do, that I should help her find her way here. And as like he finishes that sentence, she gets like right up close to the jail cells. Nas Lantamir is a fool, and I thought you were better than that, Vaelish. There was a moment where I thought you could rise upon the ranks. But given the tragedy that befell you in 10 towns, I suppose this cell is fitting. And she, like, takes a few steps back again. If you value your life, Vaelish, in any extent, you'll tell me where this map is. You'll tell me where you put it. And even if you yourself are confined here, I will consider your debt repaid to myself, and I will go claim what is mine. And he comes up close to the cells, with Valine taking her few steps back. I'm not going to tell you where it is. Instead, and she, like, as she's about to rebuttal, he, like, raises his hand up in the air. He tries to, like, place his hand kind of, like, through the cells, but you see that, like, while the bars are rather close together, like, he can't quite fit his hand through. Like, looking around, Maleg, you would see him mouth something once again. This time him mouthing, "Help me escape. And I'll show you where the map is." I'm not going to give it to you, Valine. I can't do that. But consider... Oh, wait. Maleg knows Thieves' Cant. Maleg's a rogue. Maleg, you would hear him start talking in Thieves' Cant. And it would be targeted at the party in general, so it'd be you and Ibrin who... Unless somebody... Given your insurmountable amount of languages, if you took anybody took Thieves' Cant, you would understand him. While he starts talking what seems to be gibberish, the whole party would hear him make a proposition, translating through the Thieves' Cant of, if you can get me out of here, I will gladly show you where the map is. The ears are everywhere. The eyes are everywhere. Things are not what they seem.
I would tell him back, what if instead I choose to end your life right now?
He would ponder to himself for a moment and then look back at you, Junior Steen. If you're pursuing a map to the Isle of Solstice, I can only assume that you are also after, information and a way to end the everlasting rhyme here in the north. Without my map to navigate the sea of moving ice, there are very few ships who could survive the journey. You wouldn't know where to go, and the everlasting rhyme would continue for as long as Auril wanted it so. Long story short, and he would like literally say like long story short, there would be no end to the everlasting rhyme here in the north.
I guess I would look at the rest of the party and at Valine and say, what do you guys think?
I kind of want the map.
I don't like... Valine would chime in, and I guess like Ibram would look and be like, I don't really like the idea of a prison break. Especially if... And like, he looks around the room. I don't know about all of you, but it smells really weird of like sulfur down here. Is that normal in a prison? I know it's not normal in the Pitiless, but I don't know if that's normal in most prisons around here. It gives me kind of a weird vibe. And Vaelish would like try to chime in. Things aren't what they seem. They're not what they seem. They left me. They left me here. They left me alone. And like he starts like just, you know, like when the word sulfur is mentioned, it kind of just sends him into a small spiral. They know I'm not one of them. They taught me every day, reminding me of my own failures, reminding me that my time is coming. And there's not many of us left. I watched them. I watched them grow, take over things. I watched them feed on my cell mates. And he like kind of like falls down into kind of like a slump, just like, you know, in front of the cell here. If I can't get out of here, I don't know how much longer I have left. And he like really gets really close, like wants someone to come up for a whisper. Like he beckons for someone to come up for a whisper if they're willing. He can't put his hands through the bars, so he wouldn't be able to like reach out at you. All right. So
I'm not going up there.
Okay. Any volunteers? Otherwise, I'll make somebody else do it.
Miris, go.
Okay. So,
Miris, as you get in close, he like frantically looks around the room one more time and then comes back to you. And like in a really hushed tone, you hear him say into your ear, "The warden and the guards aren't what they seem. They aren't what they seem." And then like he kind of repeats that as he like backs away again. "They're not what they seem. They're not what they seem. They're watching. I hear them. I see them. The feasting." And just like starts like, you know, kind of going into a bit of a tizzy. Free, get me out of here, and I can help you. I can use magic. I can do things. They got me confined in the cell. They can't confine me forever. They'd have to kill me." And he just like starts spiraling, and you see like Vaelish just like sigh and like shake her head back and forth. "I think he's been in here too long. I don't think there's merit in what he's saying. However, with that in mind, if he's at this point, right now it feels that Vaelish is the one who has the power. It's anti-magic field. I couldn't do anything through these bars if I wanted to. And he's the only one who would know where the map is. If he's not willing to tell us, that puts a damper in our ability to find Ithrin, to find the Isle of Solstice, to find the, what is it freaking called? Give me a hot second. I had this all memorized, and then I lost what it was called. The Codicil of White. A book that is said to help split the ice. He's the one who can tell us where to find the map that will take us to that island and give us everything we need. And she would like look to you, Junior Steen. I'm not saying he has to stay long, just long enough to find the map. Or, alternatively, if something were to happen to him, not in our control, and she like is a little bit more hushed towards you, like more so talking to you, Junior Steen. If something were to happen, not within our control, and his body ended up somewhere else, we could always speak to his corpse.
I don't know. I don't have any skin in the game here, so
That is fair.
I was talk to our captain here.
Oh, hey, that's me. As Aethros zoned out for part of this. Well, I don't really like the idea of breaking someone out of a prison cell, and he said things aren't what they seem. I don't know what that means. Let me take a look at his prepared spells for the day. I feel like he would maybe do something. The classic 3. No, not those. God, I forgot how many spells he can freaking use. That man's a monster. No. He does not have it prepared.
What's that?
I thought maybe he'd have, like, when things were saying, like, things aren't what they seem, either, like, detect good and evil, or protection from good and evil, but...
Well, yeah, like all the spells I should be able to use, technically.
Yeah, that too. It's true. I mean, you could... If Junior Steen knew he knew magic, that would be spells that he could use, too. I mean, if he has them prepared.
He doesn't.
Okay. Given that you guys are in this little cube, Aethros would kind of wait a moment. He might actually consider taking a step out, I think. I'm gonna just take a I'm gonna just go for just a nice quick walk. I'll be right back. And you would like see Aethros disappear into the dark curtain that surrounds the party and this cell. He would probably cast Detect Magic and take a walk around and come back probably, I don't know, a minute or so, maybe 2 because of the size of this room. And depends on how fast he's walking. Return to the party. And he would kind of pull everybody in the party close together. Okay. There might be a little bit of validity in what, well, I guess Vaelish is saying. I just took a little walk around and looked at, maybe some of the people here, and it's hard to get a read on the people because there's anti-magic surrounding, well, all of these cells. I don't know about the prisoners. I'm sure some of them have magical presence, but the guards that stand at the entrance of this area here, yeah, there's a strong hint of like illusion magic surrounding them. I don't know. I didn't touch one. I don't know what that exactly means, but he might be onto something here in this prison. Ibram would look around. So, are you saying we should do something with Vaelish here? I mean, I could probably pick his lock if I had the go ahead, but I don't want to create a problem with the warden here. I mean, she was pretty okay to us before, but if there's something weird with our guards, I guess it begs the question, is there something weird with her too? I feel like we need to start checking for that stuff when we go places. Just like, kind of making some remarks to himself, makes a little note on like a piece of parchment that he just carries. And Vaylene would, like, I guess, look to Aethros. I would like you to know that I am filling the void with words in case... If anybody wants to talk, by all means, feel free to. Vaylene would look to the party here. So, you're saying that you couldn't get a read on the prisoners themselves to see if there was anything weird, but the guards, for sure, there's something different about them. Okay. We have a familiar smell of sulfur. He says there's eyes everywhere. Like, at this point, I'm assuming the party's, like, out of earshot of Vaelish, keeping it to a hushed tone. Something about sulfur, eyes and ears everywhere, and an illusory appearance to the people who are, well, standing guard. Interesting. I have a feeling I might have an idea what we might be dealing with, and if so, we might be in a bit of trouble. Before I continue talking my own ear off, Miris, I'm gonna say all three of you. I will give you the choice of rolling either a history check, an arcana, or another insight check. You can choose whichever one you roll. All of them would probably lead you to the same answer. Okay. Junior Steen. Well, okay, I should start with other people. Maleg and Miris, while you've the smell of sulfur and the illusory appearance narrows things down a little bit, what it could be, you still can't put your finger on it. It's like it's right on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't think of what it is. However, Junior Steam, while in your travels from the north on down, as well as just in general, when your tribe would venture to new locations at different seasons throughout the year, you've encountered something that rings a few bells in your mind. In your one of your travels, you encountered a long time ago in a lightly forested area of the frozen north. You encountered what seems to be a cabin, and within that cabin there was an individual who was an herbalist that had given off a sulfurous aura, and you remember that person, her being what seemed to be almost a human female in appearance, although does not appear like the warden themselves. They had made mention to you that, and it's the reason why you kept them alive, or why your tribe left them alone, was that they were in many ways a young Ublex, a ooze individual who can impersonate other beings. Generally speaking, the way Ublexes work is they feast on memories. So it's kind of like how mind flayers, like they insert the tab hole, you turn into a mind flayer, and pretty much game over. In this case, Ublexes don't need a person alive. They can take memories of that individual, and then once they've siphoned those memories, they can impersonate them almost perfectly. The lady you encountered was a few, at least 50 to 60 years. They considered themselves young, but Ublexes, you don't really know how old they can get. You don't know what what their intentions are behind things. This person seemed to have been not so much evil. They were someone who the tribe would actually stop at to gather herbal supplies for their own journeys. You almost had like a partnership with them at times, but you would see them maybe twice a year. this gives you that same vibe based off of the illusory appearance as she herself had revealed what her like ooze form was to the party, those who had never been there before, so like your first time there. And she always ended of a sulfur aura.
And who is giving me that
It's
vibe?
So
Like here
Vaeli,
now, I guess.
so it would be Aethros had mentioned that the guards gave off that vibe. That it's
Oh.
like there's an illusory appearance about them, and
Uh-huh.
that Ebrin earlier had mentioned that this whole place kind of smells of sulfur.
Okay. I turned to the rest of the party. Guys, I know why it smells like sulfur here. And I don't want to alarm you, but I think there's a hut here. And inside that hut is a person who's got herbs and stuff.
Oh my god! I was wondering where you were going with this. Aethros would look to you. Well, we're inside. Does this prison count as like a giant hut, or are you saying that there is a littler hut inside this giant hut?
I don't know, but you might have just blown my mind. Wait, hang on.
Like just super confused. Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was the person that stunk like that. Because they were like this thing. They were like, it looked like a big booger, honestly. So like maybe that's what stunk. But I always thought it was just a house.
We're dealing with booger people?
Yeah. I don't know what they do, but they can like change form. Like it was this chick that was there, but then all of a sudden I looked away and I looked back and it was just a booger.
You just like Aethros and Spit would like utter like in a quiet like whisper, booger people.
So maybe those booger people are here. Inside the hut.
And I think okay, Spit hearing booger people and hut would then just randomly ask the party a question. Does anybody else wipe their boogers on tables? Or is it just me?
Think that just might be you.
Right as he says that, right as Mira says that, I was about to raise my voice, but then I go, yeah, definitely just you.
About to be like, mine got stuck in my mask.
I would eat them, but don't want make mess in public. And he just like the mention of booger people is just like boogers. I know what those are. You would as the party has this like conversation, you would see Vaelish kind of like be close, like he's like close to the cell door once again. You gotta, if I stay here any longer, it'd be days, maybe weeks. They're gonna come for me next, and there's a few of us that haven't been turned, but not that many. You should get us out, or at least me. I mean, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. But you should get me out of here so I well, don't become, in your words, a booger person. And you would just hear Spit once again, booger people.
Does anybody have handkerchiefs on them?
Hey,
You would see, as you were saying your sentence, does anybody have, Spit just like whips out a booger from his nose, and then you say handkerchiefs, and he like holds it, like he like wipes it on like the back of his pants. He's like, no handkerchiefs. Valine would pull out a singular like handkerchief that is in her pocket. I don't think something this small will wipe away a booger person, or as what they are more properly known as, an ooblex.
An obelisk? I don't know. I like booger person better.
An ooblex.
Ooh,
They're,
black.
they're a form of ooze. And if they have control of the prison, the question then becomes, what do they want? That's not important for today's purposes. If it was up to me, if it was solely my decision, begrudgingly, I would find a way to get him out of here. I don't get to make that call. I would like to, but that's not my place. And she like looks to Athros, like, who looks her up and yeah, that's our place. We get to decide that. Vaylene? She's like, yes, I am aware, our captain. And like looks down to Spit and like over to Ebron. And like she like looks around too, and you can see that like the dark veil is starting to like teeter a little bit, kind of signaling that it's reaching the end of its current duration. We don't have much time. What is our plan? Do we need more time to make a plan? I'm sure
I have a plan.
Is your plan to kill him?
No.
Well, then I'd like to hear your plan.
Okay. I need to try to say this without laughing. Okay. So I heard about this story one time where this big, hairy dude was able to make it through the prison because one of his friends dressed up like the prison guards, and then they like pretended that he was a prisoner, and then like they were, they like walked him to where they needed to go, and then they stopped pretending. So what if we make Spit here a booger person by wiping all of our boogers on him? So they think he's a booger person, and then he can walk us all out of here because it's a prison transfer.
Just give me a hot second to process that one. That was the funniest shit.
That's a 10 out of 10 moment right there.
That's why I needed to collect myself, because I was trying not to laugh.
You did a good job. You did a really good job holding yourself together. I lost it. Okay. You would see. Ooh. Okay, I want Junior Steen to make a persuasion check.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Okay, and then I have to have her roll an insight, and I don't know what her score is for that.
As soon as you said that, I was like, I have a +7. This is gonna end well.
Valine is quiet upon hearing the plan of wiping all of your boogers on her, on Spit, to make him look like a booger person.
I chose Spit because he's the smallest and would require the fewest boogers.
I mean, that's some smart thinking from Junior Steen. Junior Steen, I think the concept behind your plan has merit, but there is a slight problem with that plan. They don't currently look like they're, in your words, booger people. They look like guards. Spit would have to convince them that he lost his form. But Ooblexes don't need time to recover their forms. They can shift them at will. While the idea of a Spit covered in boogers would certainly be a sight to see, and I'm not opposed to trying, I worry about its execution. But if you are insistent on trying, we certainly can. You passed your persuasion check. It just wasn't by like a huge amount, so she has a little rebuttal.
What I'm hearing out of you is no other plans. So unless somebody else has another plan, then I'd better start. Still, I'm trying to create some boogers in my notes.
Hold on, I gotta look up. Can people actually like artificially force booger creation?
I didn't say I was successfully doing it.
I guess the proper term would be mucus.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely get it from not your nose, but it would not quite be the same. And I don't want to disrespect. I don't want to disrespect Spit by hawking loogies on him.
That's fair. We can certainly try. I don't know where we're going to get that many boogers, but it will take a little time to prepare that. We're running out of time in front of Vaelish here. So is the decision we are going to get him out of his cell then, based off of this? We have but mere moments before the spell will wither. And Vaelish is like, please, don't leave me here.
Wait, what if we killed a booger person and then covered Spit in the booger? Stop looking at me like that. I'm getting dirty looks from across the room.
I can't possibly imagine why. Oh god, without context, it makes it so much better. I see. So taking the ooze from a dead Ooblex to coat Spit and attempt to make him appear like one of their own. That might be a little more successful. And you would see Spit. Okay, I would like to give you context here. As you mentioned covering Spit with boogers, Spit has already gotten started. And you just see like snot and like, you know, liquid and solidified snot like on his already mostly green body. And just like when you hear Valine and like yourself, Junior Steen, talking about maybe killing one and covering him with that instead, he like looks down at his arm, which has barely gotten anything on it, and just lets out this little sigh, and then he starts taking them off, and then as he's like getting ready to go in and eat one, you see like he like looks at you, and some of you are looking at him, so he like wipes it on the back of his pants again. Spit, no, eat boogers. Boogers go on pants, and just like kicks like a little loose stone. Spit,
On the back
okay.
of his pants, just like crusty beyond belief.
You really haven't.
Oh no!
You don't exactly know how crusty they truly are, but you would know that he probably hasn't had a nice bath in a little while, nor his clothes washed. So who freaking knows? Give him a nice slap. They might your hand might stick for all you know.
Yeah, because Ono was the one doing all that before.
Ono was doing the Spit maintenance. Spit was basically his child. So, yeah.
I feel like he was doing the all of us maintenance. Quite honestly, I don't know how many of us would have kept up after he left.
Yeah, he was the party dad. So, not many. I feel other priorities have been definitely a big thing. As the spell begins to you would see that the darkness part of the spell has now withered away, and it's primarily silence. That you assume is around the other parts of the room, since you don't hear anything beyond the confines of Vaelish's cell. I hope that your plan succeeds. Hopefully I'm still here when you get that far. And he will take a few steps away. Without me, there's no map. And he just walks back towards where his cot is. And you would see Valine looking around the room. You would see the two guards that have kind of been doing some patrols around the room. One of them being probably 40 feet away from all of you. The other being at the entrance where you guys came in at. As you would see now, just the other prisoners once again. Some of them up and moving, some of them sleeping in their cells. The silence spell's still up for but a few seconds longer. So it's settled then. We're going to try and kill one of the Oblixes and try to coat Spit in ooze and pass him off.
Yes.
Okay. Then
Unless somebody else has another idea.
Oh, I like the idea.
Yeah, me too. That sounds like a pretty good idea.
So it was decided. As you would feel the silence spell that emanates around the area, and you see the runic patterns that run across the different surfaces of this prison block begin to dissipate. Okay. We will have to pick an opportune time, I feel, in order to make that happen. If there's others who have been taken over, be they prisoners or other guards, well, they can summon more of themselves closer. They're like a hive mind that way. So we'll need to pick our target carefully, isolate them, and then go in for the attack. And as she says that, the rest of the ward dissipates, and you'd hear the sounds of all the prisoners fully. Once again, the guards, now that the spell is kind of over, one of them, Joseph, would come over to you. Did you get what you needed from Vaelish Gant? Or do you require more time? If so, we do have lodging here. You're more than welcome to. I promise the lodging for guests of sorts is more comfortable than the lodging that the prisoners themselves get. And he kind of waits for a response from the party. Basically, yeah, did you get what you needed, or did you need more time? If so, we have space here for you.
Is he the only guard paying attention to us right now?
The other guard is so this one approached you. The other guard seems to, while taking scanning the room, looking for anything weird going on, he will draw his eyes to you momentarily, as he's kind of keeping a good observation on this high security prison.
Because I want to try to make sure he's the only one watching us, or keeping a direct eye on us. So could I is there a cell that maybe in the periphery of the other dude's vision, or like at the end of his scanning range or something, where he's not looking directly at us, that I could point to and say, "Oh no," or something along those lines, and then he would look over there. Would that be something that could feasibly, like, that he would possibly believe that something is happening over there?
It is entirely possible. You can always try.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like oh yeah, no, these rooms are completely sealed and like there's 0% chance. No, okay.
No. There's a couple open cells over here too, like, if necessary. But yeah, I would say you could certainly try something.
Okay. Then I would like to point to where where honestly probably I'd position myself to where both of the guards would be in between me and that cell, and then put on my best surprised face and go, "Oh no, what is that?" and point to that cell.
Okay. I bet you 10-1 Athros would jump in on that bandwagon. And he has things I think he can do to help you with that, to make it a little more believable.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I just realized I should have been guiding myself this entire.
Yeah, you should have.
New characters.
It's okay. Yeah, you gotta get used to your new stuff. You got a lot more stuff now than you did before. Ooh, okay. Hold on. Does he have it at level 2 as well? No, he has C invisibility. I was like, Athros would probably try to make like one of you and like one of the guards invisible, but he doesn't have invisibility. He has C invisibility, which would not help you here.
Could
go on.
Do you think it is feasible that Irini could like cast some sort of illusion over there?
Ooh, I like where you're thinking. I definitely think that could be possible.
Like if she'd pick up on that fast enough. I mean, I feel like she knows that we have to do something to try to set this plan into motion.
Oh yeah. She because she has minor illusion as a cantrip. She is going to, as you shout out, "Oh no," as you shout, "Oh no," in one of the empty cells, I would say, over on the other side of the room, she's going to cast minor illusion to make what seems to be a slow-moving image of "Oh no, it's you," appearingly like about to be like attacked by somebody else. So there's like "Oh no, it's you" in a panic, as well as like what looks to be someone who's like about to beat the shit out of them. So he's like cowering down. So "Oh no" has 2 levels here. As I'm gonna say roll a deception check with advantage.
Okay.
Because she's helping you with that.
Deception. I almost clicked disadvantage.
Okay. And then.
Oh, okay. Once again, should have guided myself.
They have. Okay. Because it would be that one. As you shout, "Oh no!" as Irini helps conjure up this image, you would see the Ublex, the both of them would turn and face the opposite direction. And you want them to be visibly distracted, or like what was your plan for them to run and investigate as well?
I guess if the one closer I would assume would probably want to investigate. It wasn't necessarily my intention, but I just wanted to get at least the one further away off of our backs for a few seconds.
Okay. The one who is closer, which would be the one who's guarding the like the entrance that you guys came in through, would be the one to go and initiate. So it would be because Joseph is the one who approached you. It'd be Zane, who would run over there. The two of them, like Joseph would be like, "The hell's going on over there?" And then like you would see Zane run across over to investigate the illusory image in the prison cell. He would be considered distracted.
Okay. And then, so you said they both looked, right?
Yes, they both did. So the Joseph is currently like looking away from the two of you as Zane
Yes.
went to investigate.
Okay, so I'd like to give it a beat. You know, just to let Zane get a few feet further away, and then since I'm directly behind him, then I would like to just plunge my sword into the back of his neck.
Okay. So it would be considered a surprise. So I want you to make an attack with your sword with advantage.
Okay.
Oh, your fucking longsword of sharpness. I forgot about that.
Oh,
Okay, 17 will successfully hit. Go ahead and do a damage roll for me.
all right.
Okay. As you strike this Ublex, what you now know to be most likely a Ublex, I should say. You would, as you pierce your sword in through the back of its neck, you watch as your sword, it seems to slice through it rather easily, almost like slicing butter. As you pierce in through the back, you would do 11 damage to it. Are you adding anything extra, Mr. Smites McGee, or anything like that? Forgot you could do that, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, forgot is a strong word.
Okay, that's fair. If you want to, you don't have to. But I just figured since you're a paladin, I want to present that opportunity.
Yeah, no, that would be great. I would love to smite him at the second level. So then, here we go. Okay. How do I make it more then? Would I just add a 1d8 in the situational then?
Yeah, I would add 1d8 for your situational.
Okay.
It'll just make it easier.
And it's not undead or a fiend, right?
Correct. Okay. That is definitely more than I thought you were going to do. That was a fantastic smite roll. Okay, so for a total of 31 damage. Okay. Because it is a surprise, because you smited, because the other guy is distracted, as you drive your sword into the back of this creature's neck, like I said, it cuts through almost like cutting butter. And as you channel your radiant energy in through your blade, you kind of rip it back out, and you watch as this creature, what you originally recognized to be Joseph, the guard, the armor that he's wearing, the overall appearance of his face, the skin color that he had, now changes to that of like a green. And all of the tint, everything that he's wearing begins to shape back into this booger person like form, and you watch as it kind of explodes out in the maybe the 5-foot surrounding area here and falls to the ground, leaving this pile of ooze. on the ground.
I then quickly tell Spit to roll around in it.
Okay. And without hesitation, you would watch as Spit begins rolling around in the filth, covering himself in a plethora of ooze. The prisoners that are nearby here watch in almost horror as this small / slightly medium-sized goblin just is now coated in this oozy substance that emanated out from the ooblex. Okay.
I would immediately like to also, if I'm able to, or if not, then
Yeah.
I would think Aethros would
Okay.
immediately touch him and give him guidance, because I know he's going to have to try to convince this other guard.
Okay. Yeah, he would have you cast guidance because, I think he has this spell prepared. Does he have enhance ability prepared? I feel pretty confident that he probably does, but I gotta make sure. I want to be respectful of his character sheet. He, in fact, does have it prepared. Okay. He's going to cast enhance ability on Spit, which would give... He's going to give it for charisma. He's going to give Spit that riz as... Spit... You know what? We're going to add one more layer to this, because I feel like Irini, having the guy investigate the minor illusion, since it doesn't require concentration, I don't believe, as part of her newfound abilities from the Nameless, she's going to cast Disguise Self on Spit. So Spit has advantage on his charisma rolls. He looks very similar to like a smaller Ooblex, and he has guidance from you, trying to convince the guard. Hands ability lasts an hour. Disguise Self lasts an hour. Guidance lasts for a minute, but that's okay. Spit. Well, you know, she's gonna make him impersonate the guard that just went down. That seems more fitting, considering that the other guy is not in guard form. Irini is thinking this through, and all of you are too. Or I should say Junior Steen, because I have a quiet duo over here. It's okay. This is where I'm sad that Jonathan's not here, because he would find this to be the most hilarious / broken shit ever.
Yeah, not having Clark and John can be real tough sometimes.
I do a lot of talking, but it's okay. As Irini finishes this minor illusion, he's a little... Spit's pretty tall for a goblin. I mean, like, by the time... Because after he aged 10 years, Spit got to be a little bit taller than what Ono was. Not quite as tall as, like, a human, but he, appearance-wise, otherwise, he seems to impersonate the guy very closely, as he is coated in that sulfurous ooze.
Yeah, I guess that would help, because now he at least smells like it.
This is true. Okay, Spit's gonna look to you, Junior Steen. Okay, now what do?
Now go tell Zane, the other guard, that we need to transfer. And I look over at this guy, because I forgot your name already. And we're taking him to another... That. Transferring him to another prison that's even more secure.
Okay. This is gonna either go so great or it's gonna go so bad. So Vaylene is going to, as Spit's like making his way over, he's gonna like pull out like his the bow that he has, just so like it looks like he's like running to investigate. As Spit rolls around, or not rolls around, as he makes his way forward, Vaylene's going to look at the party. If he's trying to convince them that the prisoner is going to be transferred, I think we shouldn't be in here. that might seem kind of suspicious, given that we just talked to him.
Good call.
Let's make our way back out and see where this goes.
Yes.
She, as surprisingly, agile in this circumstance, given her old age, leads the party out through the doors as you would hear Spit approach the guard, and you would hear him kind of clear his throat out as he's finishing his walk up. Spit, love that boy. I love him so much.
I'd like to be prepared to jump in if need be, like if it goes that far south.
Okay, fair. For reference, Spit has a -2 to charisma, so this is gonna be
Yeah, I figured. Like if the dude immediately is preparing to attack, I want to jump in. But otherwise, I'd like to still try to play it cool.
Okay, so I guess then as Valine kind of starts leading people out into the hallway, what you would probably do is hang back towards the entrance where where it opens up into the large room, just so you're easily available in case something hits the fan. And you would overhear their conversations, because Spit has a hard time controlling his volume. New orders. We need to take. Spit does not remember his name. We need to take prisoner to new prison. More secure. Like trying to impersonate you almost, like how you were saying things, but completely butchering it. Okay, so he has guidance. He has advantage on the roll, and honestly, given his disguise self, I'm going to give him an additional +2 to his roll. So it's going to be a flat charisma roll for him.
The chaos being in me wants to nat one so badly, but also I want this to work.
So it's 2 + 1d4 and advantage. Okay. Versus it'll be an insight check against him. What do we got? Oh my god. Okay. So the other guard, it was Zane who ran over there. As the image begins to fade, he looks back to Boogerman Spit, and sees that he looks a little shorter, and he looks over at where Spit is pointing, and sees that there is in fact still some of the his ooze on the ground right outside the cell, and looks down. You've shrunk. He did that to you. I didn't think you could get through the bars. You might be onto something. Or not onto something. I didn't realize there was a prison transfer here. We don't normally get transfers, at least not recently. What would be more secure than Revel's End? And Junior Steen, you would see Spit for a moment here kind of begin to exercise a little bit of panic, not quite sure how to respond, but trying to keep as much composure as he can. You almost swear across the room you can hear his heart racing. To be given to broken to take to secure prison. And after he says that, he kind of goes back into a little triumphant pose. Round 2. This is a very tense moment for Spit. He does not have guidance anymore, but he does have a flat roll plus advantage, so. Okay, he's gotten 16 twice now.
Ooh.
which is good. He's not doing too bad. Little baby spit. So you want... So, other than talking to the prisoner, he's now going to be given to their care because you were injured. Yes! That doesn't feel quite right. I should probably run that through the warden first. We should probably run that through the warden first. Wait. Oh, sorry. You're talking.
Oh man, I'd like to poke my head around the corner,
Okay.
having heard that, and oh man, I gotta think of a good word. Give me 1 second here, I guess. How much of a stickler are you gonna be if something is a little vague? I guess I'll have to
Probably.
find out.
Yeah. I mean, what is your end goal? Let's start there.
I would like to cast command,
Okay.
and I would
Command.
like to.
Okay.
I would like to tell him to believe or trust to trust what Joe Spit just said.
Okay. So here is how I'm going to run that, because there are other spells / things that could do the same effect. Those being Friends as a cantrip and Charm Person as a spell. I will allow you to use this, but they will end up having advantage on the saving throw.
Okay.
But should that advantage work, should that be the case, and like it goes through and he fails, it will have that same effect of what they would have, where it would be, or like we shouldn't say it had the same effect. You would have essentially forced that as his route. So that is, I will allow it. I'll allow it.
Yeah, because
So-
I can't. I don't have friends or whatever.
Right, Friends
other
and
one,
Charm
just-
Person.
Charm person. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, that would. Yep. Okay.
What is the saving throw they have to make for command?
It looks like it is a great question. Here, what? Here, let me pop this out, I guess, and see what it does. Oh, DC 15. There you go.
DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. Okay. Well, that was a very tense moment there. For me, because I had two very interesting ways the dice rolled. So you pop your head around. What's the range on that one? 60 feet. And let me just look at this thing quick. Okay. As you utter out the command, believe. You would feel that there is a slight hesitation as they are like getting ready to move. Like they've moved maybe like a total of like 10 to 15 feet from the empty cell that has already raised suspicion. And as you utter that out, you for a moment feel as though the spell has taken hold. But as they continue to move forward, you would see that the spell itself does not seem to have taken an effect. But more than that, you would now see that he seems to be seemingly more and more suspicious of Spit as he looks down at the shorter booger person Spit beside him. More and more distinguishing features seem to begin to show themselves as he begins to look a bit closer at him. Wait a minute. You're not Joseph. You're that goblin boy. And he will
I
be
say, Goblin Man, thank you.
and he will be readying his action to attack. I think we're going to actually end there right now as we're going to enter combat next session. But before we get to that point, since we are all since we are on in fact the map, I should probably give me a second. I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail quick of what actually happens there, but I want to get your characters on the map quick. Gotta bring the whole posse because there's a lot of you. Ebron in the rear. I imagine Athros would probably have been very close behind you. Spit's already there. Valine. Was right there. And then Irini, that's who I'm missing. Okay. So as the illusion of Spit being Joseph breaks, as he says, "Wait a minute, you're that goblin boy," and you shout out, "Goblin man!" You would begin to watch as it'd probably be you and Athros who would see it the most, since the rest of you are kind of down the hallway right now. That's interesting. I have this backwards. Why is there two? Is it two Mirises? No. Why is there? Interesting. Sorry, I put down Ebron and I have two Malegs on the screen. That's interesting. This token's like MIA. I'll have to fix that for next time if he returns. Anyway, you would watch as from some of the prisoners' bodies in their cells, a form begins to shift, that of a tendril, kind of rising out from like inside, almost like the esophagus of some of the prisoners. And as the tendril rises out, and you see like even like some blood and stuff that's kind of spewing out from its eruption, you watch as the form of these prisoners shifts to that of just a giant winding tendril itself, falsified in appearance to match along the like what the guards have been doing as well. You would see that there are some prisoners within this cell block that have not, been either taken over or like eaten for their memories, but rather that some of these are definitely a facade. As they're, let me pull up this map here for all of you. GM only, no, we're going to show it to everyone. As there are several tendrils within the cells, and Spit is down on the bottom right corner, as he is now face to face with one of the older Ublexes. You see, like I said, there are some prisoners. Vaelish is in the bottom left-hand corner.
For what it's worth, I can't see anything.
Oh yeah, because wait, what? Can anybody see anything, or am I crazy?
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see my token.
I know why that is. Give me a second.
Yeah, I get to see a black screen.
Can you see it now?
Ah, there we go.
Okay, I figured it out. For this map, I have to toggle off your dark vision. That's why. Because it's listed as... All of my maps are listed as nighttime. And so, if you don't have... If you have no dark vision, or if like your dark vision isn't configured to have light sources, which this map is not set up that way, it won't show you anything. So, this is what you see. As the people have kind of erupted into Ublex tendrils in some of the prison cells. And then Spit is on the bottom right. Currently face to face with an adult Ublex. As the tendrils begin to erupt, you hear in the back of your minds the voice of the warden. It's time to feast, my children. Mother is coming. And that is going to be where we will end it for today. As the illusion has unfortunately been stumped.